In this video, we are going to look at how to create content with PowerPoint. So you will launch the desktop app and we're going to go into PowerPoint polling. So we're going to go ahead and click Start Now, and this will take just a second to open PowerPoint. Now I am running this on a Mac. So this version looks a little bit different on the PC. This turning point bar that floats on a Mac is actually incorporated in a tab panel on the PC, but all the functions are the same. So what we're going to do is we're going to get started with a presentation. So you can actually open and start with the presentation you've already built. I'm just going to start with the blank one for ease of use here. Now our top polling bar here gives us some different options. What we're going to focus on right now is this content one on the far left here, because this is where we're going to do to actually build our content. So I'm going to go into new, and you're going to see that we have a lot of question choices here, and we're going to actually insert each one of these so that you guys know what they do. We have multiple choice and short answer, numeric, Hotspot. These are the ones that we have in the web version and the web desktop version. We also have a word cloud, true false, essay, demographic assignment, priority ranking, Likert, and an icebreaker. We're going to start with our multiple choice. So when we get a multiple choice, we're going to get our enter question text. We're going to come over here and we can enter in our question. And then we're going to go down here and enter in our responses. Now these are what your students can respond with. And you'll see that I've entered 4 responses here. Now, one of the unique things with a Mac that you normally don't have to do on a PC is after you've entered your answer choices here, you do need to come and hit the refresh button. And what this is going to do, it's going to refresh this slide, and we'll actually see it updated our answer responses down here to our answers over here, so we can see that a little bit better. So some of the options that we have with our questions, so we have slide preferences over here, and we have question options. All of our questions we can set as anonymous. This will give us the ability to remove the student, who the student is, from their response. This is really good for icebreaker type questions and questions that you want an honest response to. Bullet format. The recommendation is we leave this in the ABCD format. If you're using numbers for this and then numbers in your responses, it can cause some confusion. Multiple responses gives us the ability to pick as many responses that are correct as possible. You can limit it to pick the top 2, or you can go up to 10. Now all multiple choice questions have the option of up to 10 responses. You can allow duplicates, so they could choose A and A. You can say all or nothing for the scoring, so we can actually select which ones are the correct responses, and you can say they have to get all the correct responses to get this answer correct. The next section here is our polling options. You can have it automatically open polling when you get to this slide, which is a very useful tool. You can tell it to show results and when you want it to show results. The most common show results is after polling. During polling allows students to see how other students are responding without knowing who they exactly are. It's good for different types of questions, but the most common is after polling. Response grid would actually show you who is responding. This is nice, but you have to be careful not to show this to your students. Scoring options, you can select your correct point value and incorrect point value. Now, if you're doing this to give students participation points, we do recommend selecting an incorrect point value here to give your students credit for even answering a question. And then we can actually select our correct value here, and when it selects the correct, it toggles everything else as incorrect. So I'm going to go back and uncheck multiple responses because we only have one correct response here. Our next question type is short answer. So with this question, you can just enter your question text here. So we can enter our question. And once again, we have some question options over here. We have anonymous. Once again, you can set this as anonymous. We can automatically open polling. We can show results. We'll select show results after polling. We can say first response only. We can show the correct keyword after this. We can select our point options, and we can actually say there is a correct value here, and we can enter in our answers. And the nice thing is here, we can actually select to do incorrect spellings of it, just in case someone gets a little bit slow or fast on their phone keyboards. We're going to insert our next question type, which is a numeric response. Numeric response is a variation of your short answer. But what this one is looking for is it's looking only for a number as the response. Once again, we have our question options of anonymous. We can decide when we want to show our results. A lot of these are common throughout the question, so we're going to be skipping over a lot of those now. We can say we have a correct answer here, and we're going to say our correct answer is 4. Now the nice thing with these numeric question types is you can do an acceptable range. So if you're looking for a range of numbers, you can do this as well with these questions. Our next question type is a hotspot question. With the hotspot questions, it's going to come up and ask you for an image. So I've got an image of the UT campus map here. So I'm going to click open. And you can actually type a question based on this image. We're going to look at our question options over here. Once again, we have our choice of anonymous. We're going to do our polling options. We're going to say we're going to show results for afterwards. We're going to leave our correct point value. Now this is where it gets interesting with our hotspot question type, because we actually have to add the hotspots. So I'm going to click add hotspot. You're going to see this orange box appear here. And we're going to drag that over and select Nailing Stadium here. Now, the one nice thing with these hotspot question types is if you have a very unique shape, you can actually add multiple hotspots and resize these to anything that you need to be able to cover a unique space. So that is our hotspot question type. Our word cloud. Word cloud question types are just that. It's a short answer question type, but instead of displaying it in a list format, as people type in words, the more common words that are typed in will come to the top. So in this case, this example here shows us pastimes of things to do, and video games is one of the largest here. So you will enter your question type here, and you can put in any types of questions here. And once again, I'm going to hit refresh just to make sure that this slide updates. So like I said, occasionally in the Mac, we do not get a update for these slides here. So we want to make sure that everything gets updated correctly. Adjust our question options like before. We can show results. I'm going to show this after polling. This is a neat one to show during polling as different things get larger and smaller. We can say if we have a correct point value or not. In this case, we don't have a correct point value, so I'm not going to worry about anything here. Our next question type is a true-false. And here, it's just a variation on a multiple choice with only 2 responses, and it automatically puts in true-false for us. And we can decide, once again, if we have an anonymous question type, we can show results after polling. We can set our scoring option, and we can say if this is actually true or false, and this is true. We are the volunteers. Our next question type is an essay. An essay question is a variation on the short answer, where short answers gives us a total of 255 characters. This gives us a long response. So you can put in whatever you want here. You can set this to anonymous. Now, the one unique thing with the essay is there is no correct answer because people are going to type in whatever they feel necessary here. So there is no correct answer for an essay. They're designed for you as the instructor to review. Our next question type is a demographic assignment. So what you can do with this is actually assign students to groups. So it's just a multiple choice option to be able to assign to groups. We have a priority ranking. What you will do with these is be able to allow students to choose and rank how these their responses are. So you can do something like, and I'm going to go up here and click my refresh button, and we're going to see our responses change here. On the slide preferences, we can do anonymous as normal, our bullet format, but we can choose our response limit. So instead of please rank, we can say, and we can actually give weight to those top 3 points. So if we're ranking different things, we can do that. We could do all of the options here. And then we can choose when we want to show results. And I'm going to say after polling again. And with this, there is no correct answer. It's going to be weighted by the responses. Our next question type is a standard Likert. And this goes from strongly agree to strongly disagree. And you can type in your question here, and it's got all that built into it. So these are just easy ones to be able to get some different feedback on. Once again, we have anonymous. You could do multiple responses here for Likert. That's not really recommended. We have our polling options. We're going to show after polling. We can say if there's a correct value. In most cases with Likert, you don't have a correct value. You're just using it to gauge whether someone agrees or disagrees with a statement. And our last questions are icebreakers. These icebreakers are kind of fun. You just put them in there and they automatically build some analogies for you. So like a puppy is to dog, cat is to, or kitten is to cat. So your correct answer, these are already built in. These are just some fun ways to create questions, have your students go through some stuff either as an icebreaker or as just a test to see if they are actually able to use their clickers. And then the last icebreaker type is a word scramble. And you can actually enter your word or phrase here. And it's going to go ahead and pull out every other letter and throw it down here. Now the uniqueness of this is that this is scrambled down here. So you have to figure out the scramble along with what the phrase is. So in this case, B is the correct answer. And it's just, once again, a nice question to throw out there to let you quickly create some questions. I'm going to go back to my first question here. So that's how you create the content. Now, so there are some other things that we can do with this content. I'm just going to show you on this first question here. Under objects, you have a correct answer indicator, so you can actually do a correct answer that will come up after you finish your question and show the response. You can show the correct answer. You can adjust your chart, so if you prefer to have a different chart type instead of the vertical, you could do a horizontal chart type. It's going to redistribute everything and put it behind it. You have 3D pies, donuts, or response only. So those are your options. You do have countdowns. So you can put a countdown timer in here and set your countdown and insert it. And what this is going to do is when you get to the slide, it's going to start the countdown. And then when it finishes, it's going to automatically progress your slide for you. So it's going to close polling for you. So this is an easy way to just get it to advance on its own. You can insert grids, the table response grids. You can do different prompts. You can do a response counter, and you can do some basic stats on the questions. The main ones that we recommend using is the correct answer indicator, adjust your charts to what you want, and adjust your countdown timer. That's all there is for content creation. You insert these into your presentation, you save it like normal, but when you launch it, you will have to launch it through the TurningPoint app. So in our next series, you will see how to deliver content with PowerPoint.